A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear students of 12th class, subject Botany, Boys Higher Secondary School, Nagri. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear students, today on 8th of July 2021, our topic is Mendels experimental technique. Dear students, yesterday in our lecture we have discussed the basic features of Mendel's experiments. Now today we will see how the Mendel does his experiments and what were the techniques which he applied during experimentation. So our today's topic is Mendel's experimental technique as it is included in your syllabus. The experiments on the garden pea were conducted in 3 steps. The first step of Mendel's experimental techniques was the selection of pure parent plant. Selection of pure parent plant. How the pure parent plant was selected by the Mendel during experimentation, which we will see. So the first step of the experimental techniques conducted by Mendel is the selection of pure parent plant. Mendel raised only those plants which bred true. Those plants were selected by the Mendel which bred true. That means which have the true breeding, such that seeds from tall plants produced only tall. Seeds from tall plants produced only tall plants, and so on for other characters. It means that the plants which are tall, the seeds from the tall plants produced only tall plants, and the developed plants produce only developed plants. And this is why that the Mendel raised only those plants which bred true. It means seeds from tall plants produced only tall plants, and so on for other characters. The second step of his experimentation was the hybridization of pure plants. The pure plant is selected by the Mendel, then the hybridization takes place. So how the hybridization has been done by the Mendel, that is the second step of his experimental techniques. So second step is the hybridization of pure plants. Mendel cross-pollinated pure plants with different contrasting characters. For example, stamens of flower of one plant, like tall, were removed and its carpels were dusted by pollen of other plant like dwarf. So you should remember here that the Mendel in hybridization of pure plants is the second step of his experimentation techniques was that the Mendel cross-pollinated pure plants with different contrasting characters. For example, stamens of flower of one plant like tall were removed and its carpels were dusted by pollen of other plant like dwarf. The pollinated flowers were covered by paper bags to prevent further pollination. The seeds produced by these plants were kept in separate jars and marked. Mendel named them first filial generation or F1 generation. The third step is the self-pollination in hybrids. Self-pollination in hybrids. The hybrid plants of F1 generation were subjected to self-pollination. The hybrid planters of F1 generation were subjected to self-pollination. For this purpose, their flowers were enclosed in paper bags to keep out foreign pollen grains. The seeds produced were collected and sown SOWN, इसको बोना बोलते हैं, वावन कोइजपट, which produced second filial generation indicated by symbol F2, and that second generation F2, which is called the F2 generation, that gave rise to F3 generation. So these were the experimental techniques of Mendel, which were carried in three steps. The first step was the selection of pure parent plant. Second was the hybridization of pure plants. Third was the self-pollination in hybrids. So in this way, we have completed our question, basic features of Mendel's experiments and the experimental techniques. So this was all about today's lecture. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.